Hi guys, it's Nancy and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in for another video. You know, I like to turn foods that are kind of higher in points into a lower point value so that I can enjoy. And of course, one of my favorite foods is donuts. Who doesn't love donuts? You know, they are a breakfast staple and a snack staple. So when I saw a recipe for 2-point donuts, I had to give it a try. These are pumpkin spice donuts, baked donuts. I found this recipe in the WW app. I am using a sugar substitute, so it makes the donuts lower in points, again, only 2. A really, really great recipe. Now, this recipe calls for pumpkin puree. So the texture can be a little different. You want to see how I make them? Let's go. Okay, let's get into our ingredients. You're going to need cooking spray, a little bit of a sugar substitute. You're also going to need some baking powder. You're going to need some spice, like a pumpkin spice. I'm using the Trader Joe's pumpkin pie spice. You're also going to need some whole wheat flour. The recipe actually calls for pastry flour. I didn't have it, so I'm using whole wheat flour. You're going to need some powdered sugar, also vanilla, a little bit of salt. Also, you're going to need your pumpkin puree. And you're also going to need an egg. So those are your ingredients. I'll get into the quantities soon. For your equipment, you're going to need 2 bowls and also your silicone donut shape mats. So I got these from Amazon. I'll link them below if you need them. And you're also going to need a plastic Ziploc bag. Okay, let's start with our flour. Again, the recipe called for whole wheat pastry flour, which I understand helps make your desserts almost cakey-like. So that could have been a factor here. But I'm using 1 cup of the whole wheat flour. For my sugar substitute, I'm using erythritol, I believe is how to say it. I can't even say it. That's a shame, but I'll put it in my body. Ugh. I didn't have Splenda. 1 cup of that. You're also going to need baking powder, a half of a teaspoon of baking powder. And you're going to need 1/4 of a teaspoon of some table salt. So add that to your dry ingredients in 1 bowl along with your pumpkin pie spice. So I love this blend from Trader Joe's. I use it on everything. You've probably seen me use it a million times. But I'm going to really use a bunch for this recipe because after all, they are baked pumpkin spice donuts. So you want to give your spice a really good opportunity to come out in the flavor of your donuts. Okay, for our wet ingredients, we're going to use our pumpkin puree, and this is 2/3 of a cup. I'm using the vanilla extract. This is half of a teaspoon. We're also going to use our egg that I mentioned, your 1 large egg. And you're going to go ahead and give that a stir. So, you know, you can find pumpkin puree anywhere today because, of course, it is the season for it. Folks are making their pumpkin pies and, you know, it's long been, I guess, discovered that pumpkin puree mixed with, you know, various baked items adds a nutritional value. So, you know, it's a great thing to have in your pantry at all times. You just never know. Okay, so we're going to add our egg and pumpkin puree mix with our vanilla into the flour batter and just give that a stir. So this process took a little bit because it is, you know, kind of a thick batter. So when you think about it, it is a donut, and donuts can be dense, you know. Well, if you're frying them, of course, they're light and fluffy, but in a baked method, they're a bit denser. So this batter was kind of thick. You can see me here trying to work with it. So take your time, make sure that it's incorporated well, and that all your ingredients get mixed up well together. Okay, let's go ahead and preheat our oven to 350. And then we're going to go ahead and add our batter to a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. So, of course, this will work as our pastry bag. So, go ahead and add your puree or batter mix to that. And this batter, the consistency worked really well with the Ziploc bag. So, I thought in the future it'd be great to do something else with this method. And I like the feel of this batter. So, if I make another baked donut recipe, I might consider using pumpkin on some level because it just works really well. All right, so I'll go ahead and make sure that all of my batter is kind of in the corner there. So when I snip off a little bit of that bag, it easily, drops into my silicone donut maker. So we're going to give our donut maker mat or tray a good spraying of our cooking oil so that they don't stick. And so we're just, again, going to snip off a little bit of the end of that Ziploc bag, and we're going to go ahead and lay the batter into the silicone mat. Now, at first I didn't know how much to put in here, and so I just kind of went around one time. And don't do this in front of your kids because you know what they're going to say. But, eventually I realized that I would have enough batter to go, around a few times and just, fill it all the way up to the top so that I would get good sized donuts. The recipe, by the way, calls for 6 donuts, so that's perfect. So why not use all the batter if that's what the recipe makes? And so by the time I finished emptying out the pastry bag, that was about what the mix made, 6 full donuts. So just go ahead and fill those to the top. Don't worry if it looks like you're filling them too much. For me, it worked out just fine. Okay, so I sprayed the back of my metal spoon with a little cooking spray and then just kind of went over the top of the donuts to smooth them over. Although you're going to bake them and flip them out and they're going to be beautifully rounded on the outside, you kind of want to make sure that they're not too lopsided. So go over it with your spoon and kind of smooth them out. And this is what they look like before they go into the oven. The batter is a really nice color. It does remind you of something like an apple cider, donut, but certainly a pumpkin spice as well. So I placed my donuts on top of a metal tray before putting them in the oven because I don't want them to just sit on the wire rack that way. So there we go. Placing them in the oven, and again at 350. This is what they look like when they come out of the oven. The recipe called for them to cook for 18 minutes, and I can tell you that I had mine upwards to 30 minutes in the oven. So I don't know what they were talking about. All right, so here they are, and because we sprayed so well, they plopped right on out. Really warm now, but look at that. Isn't that a nice looking donut? I really love that silicone mat, and we'll definitely be playing around a little bit with that. If you have any donut recipes, leave them in the comments because I'm definitely going to play around with it. I even considered buying cake batter from the grocery store and making donuts out of it. And then thought, why not get a little creative, especially for 2 points, and give these a try, All right, so my donuts have cooled a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add the confectionery sugar. 2 teaspoons of that is what the recipe calls for. And just sprinkle them over, and man, do they look nice. Look at that. You know, this is perfect for fall. Really, really, really nice. 6 of those donuts. Okay, they've cooled enough. I'm going to give them a little bit of a try. You can see that. You see the bottom of those donuts. And I'll give them a tug so you can see kind of how it comes apart and what it looks like. They're still a little warm, which is fine. But so, you know, it looks like a donut, right? Like a dense, cakey kind of donut. So I have to say, again, I really love the taste of this donut, the pumpkin and the spices. Really great taste. I couldn't get over the texture, though. You clearly knew it was pumpkin. So, I don't know. I'm going to give these kind of a sideways thumb. Well, what did you like about those donuts? You know, the taste was really good. The texture, not my favorite. So, will I be making them again? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But, you know, they would be great for something like a breakfast bar. Something that you can make, and even if it doesn't kind of, you know, curb your hunger or desire for something sweet, it could be a good little breakfast treat. It's nutritious with the Parade pumpkin. Again, only 2 points. You know, if you make them and you don't like them as much, save them for something. Don't waste your money. All right, well, I wanted to bring you this video. It's date night. I have to run. I hope that you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.